Ponds are a fantastic feature of the landscape. They provide a crucial freshwater habitat for a wide range of species, including invertebrates, amphibians, mammals and birds, plus a wide range of plant species.
Norfolk is a really important county for ponds. There are about 23,000 ponds in Norfolk, which is more than any other county in England. Most of these ponds, the vast majority, are man-made features. Normally during the 17th, 18th, 19th century, they were dug for marl or dug for clay, or they were put in as watering holes for livestock. So they're really, really important to the ecology of Norfolk.
Ponds are a vital feature of a connected landscape for wildlife.
With species such as great crested newt needing to use ponds and the rough habitat between them as part of their life cycle, but ponds face a variety of threats, from land reclamation to allow larger scale agriculture, infrastructure development, and also this pond behind me you can see scrub and bramble encroaching in on the pond, which means through undermanagement the pond can be lost, and these become what's known as ghost ponds in the landscape. Also, ponds face the threats of invasive species and pollution. Ponds go through a natural life cycle, which means that they need management periodically to keep them in a good condition. The ponds will get encroached by scrub, by bramble, leaves will fall into the pond, silt will develop in the pond, and you lose depth in the pond. So they need periodic management in order to keep them in condition. What you'd need to do is look at the ponds that you manage and carry out a rapid pond assessment which looks at the condition of the pond, which will tell you how shaded the pond is, how much vegetation is surrounding the pond, how much silt is in the pond, and you can use that to prioritise which ponds to manage, which lets you come up with a plan to develop funding and actually get the work done over a period of time. With this type of restoration work, you need to really think about the time of year that the work's being done. On this pond, we decided it needed to be excavated out because it had a lot of silt in it. There was lots of overhanging vegetation, so that's been cleared. You typically do this sort of work in the autumn and winter, definitely not before the 1st of October if the pond's got water in, because there can be newts in the pond and other creatures, so you don't want to disrupt them. At the moment, the water levels are really low, so this pond was excavated yesterday. It looks very stark at the moment, but by next spring, the vegetation will be growing back, the water level will be rising, and it will start to really benefit from the work we've done. This pond here, we'd identified that it needed a bit of excavation, had quite a lot of silt in, which had raised the silt level and lowered the amount of water the pond could hold.
On the Norfolk Wildlife Trust website, there's detailed guidance on pond restoration, including how to decide on what work's required and how to prioritise that work. What you don't want to do is do all of the pond work in 1 year. It's best to keep a range of different ponds at different stages of their life cycle to benefit wildlife.
This bit of work's nearly finished with the excavation. Next spring, the water level will be up, the vegetation will grow back, and it will be a really good habitat for wildlife.
Virtually all of the silt is removed from the ponds, except for a really small amount sitting just on top of the clay, perhaps just a couple of centimetres worth. That bit of silt's going to leave a valuable seed bank in place to allow plants to regenerate from.
If vegetation clearance is also needed at the pond, that can often be done with tree shearers attached to the excavator, or for smaller bits of vegetation, that could be done with a chainsaw or even with hand tools for very small bits of scrub. The pond restoration work can seem quite stark when it's done. It doesn't take long though for the pond to recover and grow back. This pond was actually a new pond that was dug 2 years ago, and you can already see the vegetation around it. This pond's been really good for newts, although it's very dry at the moment because the water level's low because of the dry summer we've had. Managing ponds as part of a network of ponds on your farm can really be positive for wildlife, and having a range of ponds is a really good thing. So that's something to definitely think about, and the ponds can be a huge asset to wildlife in your area.